Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. Now, we're going to start off this news segment with something that we've been following all week long. It is, of course, day 4 of a murder trial that we have been following. The defense has rested after 64-year-old Robert Ballard Jr.'s testimony this afternoon. Ballard is on trial for a murder that happened 8 years ago. Police say he fired shots into a car parked outside a home on Delaware Street, killing Amanda Weir and seriously hurting her mother, LaDonna Davis, who was in a previous relationship with Ballard.
So it's been a packed courtroom today as Ballard gave his testimony. Ballard said that he loves his family and he didn't want to hurt them more than he already has. He said that he wanted to give them closure and give some answers. However, when he was questioned, he said that he was confused about this whole thing and said he doesn't know why he even began shooting. Now, Ballard said he was suffering from mental illness. He said that he believes Davis would also be dead if his grandson didn't start yelling at him to stop. Now, again, the defense has rested. The jury will start their deliberations tomorrow. Leslie Chapman has been in the courtroom today, so she's going to have a full breakdown of day 4 tonight on 14 News.
Now, in some economic news, a big milestone for one of Posey County's largest employers. Nick's Companies broke ground on its future headquarters today in Poseyville. Company leaders and local partners came together to celebrate the accomplishment along Frontage Road.
Yeah, leaders say this new headquarters highlights continued growth for Nick's Companies and a long-term investment in Posey County. Now, the new headquarters also means expanded job growth. Leaders expect a 20% increase in workforce for Poseyville.
Now, for our final story here today, a big one for you sports fans out there. The Union County High School wrestling team is getting some national recognition courtesy of Sports Illustrated. The popular sports media outlet penned an in-depth article after the Braves won their 17th team state title. Journalist Chris Adams spoke with students and team leaders to share their full story and delve into the history of the program.
Yeah, and that's a story in itself. I mean, the history of this program, 17 state titles, wow. So the high school social media admins were excited to share about the article online, and if you want to read it in full, we do have a link to that on our website, 14news.com. Proud Union County Brave here, so I had to put this in our stream show today so you guys could know to go check it out.
See, I was going to say, you definitely
This was a shameless plug, I'm sorry.
Something about that. I wonder how that one ended up in the show, but really an impressive thing, notwithstanding. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. That's going to round out our news segment for today, but of course, we've got another bright, sunny, and very warm day outside right now, so we're going to throw things over to someone who knows a whole lot more about that than we do, but of course, a lot more happening in the field of news right now, so be sure to circle back for 14 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10.
Yeah, like Rob said, really nice today, but changes are coming. We do have an alert day on the board for tomorrow and for Monday. So Arden will have those details right after the break.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory. Lots of sunshine, warm and breezy out there today. Changes are on the way though. Tomorrow it's going to be a little cooler because it's going to be mostly cloudy and we have some scattered rain in the forecast. Not a total washout though. Quieter weather takes over for the weekend. Then Monday is really the day to watch. Monday is a First Alert weather day as it looks like Monday evening, maybe lingering into Monday night. We are expecting some thunderstorms and the possibility that some of those could be severe storms posing a damaging wind and tornado threat. So Monday is really our next chance of some severe storms across the tri-state. Right now across the region, it is mostly sunny. These little white dots you see on the map, those are clouds that are popping up. It is mainly sunny. There are a few more clouds off to the west. Those might kind of spread our way as we go through this afternoon into this evening, but it'll still be mostly sunny. There will just be a few scattered clouds in the sky. Mostly clear then through the night tonight. As we get into Friday, though, it becomes mostly cloudy. By Friday morning, there will be some scattered rain off to the west that will then move east into the tri-state. Looks like our best chance of rain is probably between 10 a.m. and noon. That's when we're looking at scattered rain. Maybe a pocket of heavy rain or a few rumbles of thunder, but at this point, our chances of severe weather for Friday are looking very low. But a brief downpour, a few rumbles of thunder, or even a gust of wind may pop up within some of those showers and storms. It looks like that second wave of rain is really going to fall apart as it moves into the tri-state. So I think our rain chances Friday afternoon and evening are looking very isolated. And then we kind of dry things out as we head into Friday night. I mentioned our chances of severe weather on Friday seem very slim. We are outlooked for just general run-of-the-mill thunderstorms. Yesterday, we were included in this level 1 risk for isolated severe weather, and you can see they've kind of split that now. There's a level 1 risk for storms to our northeast, and then there's a greater risk, a level 1 to level 2, as you get to our southwest, but we're caught here in the middle, not outlooked for severe weather on Friday. So it does seem like just how things are going to play out. There's going to be kind of a break in the action where we are. So we are looking at rain, maybe a few thunderstorms, but at this point, our chances of severe weather on Friday seem very low. We may catch a stray shower Saturday or Sunday, but the whole weekend is looking mostly dry. Then we get to Monday. This is where things could really get interesting. Monday is the day to watch. We're going to start things out with a warm front pushing through the tri-state Monday morning. As that swings through our region, what it's going to do is it's going to pull warmer air up from the south. So as we go through the day on Monday, we're looking at this surge of warmer, more humid air pumping into the tri-state, and that is just going to be energy to feed our thunderstorm chances. Then Monday evening, this cold front comes in from the west, and as that pushes into the tri-state, it will bring us rain and thunderstorms Monday evening, possibly hanging over into Monday night. And then the whole thing pushes off to the east and our skies clear as we get into the day on Tuesday. Now, our chance of severe weather on Monday does seem to be increasing. When you look at this map, obviously the big orange circle here, that's where there's the greater risk of severe weather. And I actually think it's drawn a little far north. I think down here closer to the boot heel of Missouri and near Paducah, down toward Memphis. I think this is where you would have the greatest risk of severe weather if I personally was drawing this map. This comes from the Storm Prediction Center. But the general messaging, especially for us here locally, is the same. That we're kind of right at the cusp of this 15 to 30% chance of seeing severe storms on Monday, and the greater risk is probably off to our west and southwest. So the greatest risk of severe weather probably more down this way, but certainly severe storms possible in the tri-state on Monday. The level 1 through 5 that you're kind of used to seeing, they only put those out for days 1 through 3, so that would be today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So it'll be a couple more days before we get into that sort of level 1 through 5 ranking for Monday's severe weather threat. But you should know that a 15% chance is kind of equivalent to a level 2 out of 5 threat, and that 30% chance would be equivalent to a level 3. So when you look at it that way, we're already looking several days out here that we would potentially be in a level 2 to level 3 threat on a scale of 5. So we'll have to wait and see. We're still a few days out. Things could change. But Monday evening seems like our best chance of seeing severe weather across the tri-state, and all hazards are in play here. We could be looking at damaging winds, hail, heavy rain, and even tornadoes on Monday if things come together just right. So go ahead and be planning now that you need to be weather aware on Monday. and have, a severe weather plan in place by the time we get to Monday. Checking in on the comments here. Good afternoon, Jeanette, Suzanne. Tori concerned about Monday. Monday is definitely the biggest threat we've had in a while. We've had kind of a quiet severe weather season. Typically in the spring, we're tracking severe weather on a pretty regular basis, and really we're in drought right now. It's been dry here recently. We're kind of overdue for some severe weather given the time of year. So it seems like Monday is going to be the first time in a while, despite the fact that it's April, a time of year where we typically see some of our highest numbers of severe weather. Most of our severe storms hit in April and May, and so we're kind of overdue for a round of severe storms around here. And Zach is asking, how bad are the storms going to be? Cheyenne's asking, is there a chance it's going to move away from us? And all of that is kind of subjective. It depends on your frame of reference here. Like I said, I don't think we're going to be the center of the bullseye on Monday. I think it'll be worse for folks to our west-southwest. But Monday does seem like the first time in quite a long time where we may have a legitimate threat of seeing some severe storms in the tri-state. We haven't had hardly any severe weather so far this whole month. So don't be slacking. This is a time of year where you would typically be very on guard. You would be having alert days regularly and always looking ahead to the next chance of severe weather. That's not how our April has played out. It's been very warm. It's been very dry. So you may have gotten a little lazy when it comes to your severe weather preparation. So I really want to draw your attention to Monday. Even if we don't get widespread severe weather on Monday, it'll be the first time in a while we have any kind of legitimate severe weather threat. So just don't be caught off guard by that. This will come with some temperature changes, but we're actually not looking at a huge cool down. It's very warm out there today. Our temperatures are in the low to mid 80s right now. It's 82 in Evansville and Newburgh, 83 in Owensboro and Henderson. Our wind is coming from the south, so it is another breezy day out there, but that wind is pulling warm air from the deep south up into the tri-state. So as that southerly breeze and the mostly sunny skies continue, I do think we'll tack on another couple of degrees this afternoon, probably top out somewhere in the mid 80s in most locations. Overnight tonight, just a few clouds, really pretty mild, lows only dipping into the lower 60s. Then tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Again, not a total washout. There will be lots of dry time throughout the day, but we also have this chance of a little scattered rain, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. But again, at this point for Friday, our chances of severe weather are seeming pretty slim. So we've left the alert day because especially if you have outdoor plans, we could still have some gusty winds, some lightning, maybe some downpours that could be impactful. But really, Monday is the day to watch for any chance of severe storms in the tri-state. And we've got the weekend in between here, which again, we could catch a stray shower either day, but Saturday and Sunday are both looking mostly dry, partly to mostly cloudy with highs in the partly to mostly sunny, I should say, with highs in the upper 70s there. Behind that cold front on Monday, we do see a dip in our temperatures, but it's still not going to be dramatically cold. We're looking at highs in the 70s then through the middle of next week, with another cold front bringing us yet another chance of rain on Thursday. But as of right now, we're not anticipating any severe weather then. I mentioned it's been very warm, very dry so far this April. Drought is getting worse. I want to show you that here in just a second. This calendar is just kind of a summary showing our high temperatures so far this month. We're going to throw on another day in the 80s here today. So that means through 23 days in April here, 12 of them, more than half, we're looking at highs in the 80s. That is very uncommon. You would typically see a lot of 60s and a few 70s in the mix as you go through the month of April. We've only had 3 days with highs in the 60s, and we are now about to have our 12th day with highs in the 80s, and also barely any rain. April showers, May flowers, all that. April is known for being kind of a rainy, stormy, dreary month. That has not been the case this year at all. Not only has it been very warm, it's been very dry. We've really only had 2 days where we've had any kind of widespread rain, and even that was not very heavy. In total, at the rain gauge at the Evansville airport, We have picked up less than an inch of rain so far this entire month, and we've really only got about a week left here in the month of April, so we are running a pretty big deficit. We're short nearly 3 inches so far this month, and a short nearly 6 inches on the year. We've had only 9 inches of rain so far this year, and typically we would have closer to 15 inches of rain at this point in the year. Our average temperature is running nearly 9 degrees above average just because we have had so many days with highs in the 80s. So here's that drought map I was mentioning. With the heat and the dry conditions, it's no surprise that the drought is getting worse. Most of the tri-state is now in moderate drought conditions, but as you head farther south into western Kentucky, we're talking about severe to even extreme drought. So we do have very dry conditions settled in across the tri-state right now, and that's extremely uncommon for April. And it's not just us. Much of the country is in drought. We're actually in the worst spring drought on record. Now, we've been tracking drought in this way for about 25 years. So in those 25 years, this is the worst and most widespread drought conditions have been across the U.S. this early in the year. Typically, you get into drought as the summer months go on. It gets hot, it gets dry, everything starts to dry out. Spring is when you're supposed to get all your rain, right? So it's odd that we are in drought, not just here locally, but across so much of the country so early in the year. And that is concerning for what we may see then as we get into the summer months, when you would typically see your drought. The drought we're already experiencing could get worse. So definitely concerning for like farmers, for example, and wildfires that they're dealing with all across the southeast, things that you typically don't see so much of in April. Anyway, off my drought rant, let's talk about beyond Thursday, because end of this next week could get interesting. So we've got a few showers and storms tomorrow, mainly dry over the weekend. Monday, again, our first alert weather day. Monday evening, you really need to be paying attention to the weather. That cold front does cool us off a bit. We see our temperatures dropping back to around 70 by Thursday, but then another cold front moves in behind that. That brings us another chance of rain on Thursday, along with another drop in our temperatures. And the extended outlook from Friday, May 1st through the start of the following week does show a trend toward below average temperatures with near average precipitation. So not really a wet or dry pattern taking over. I do want to point out, though, when you look at the hazards, essentially all of Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois, and much of the rest of the kind of northern portion of the country here, outlooked for potentially much below normal temperatures from Friday, May 1st through Monday, May 4th. So that cold front on Thursday does not look like it's going to bring us any severe thunderstorms. I think it would probably be just some rain. But behind that one, we could have another more dramatic drop in our temperatures, and at a time of year when our highs are typically in the low 70s, we could be looking at temperatures down into the 50s, 60s as we get toward the end of next week, which is also Derby weekend. I know it's not a local thing, you know, that's over in Louisville, but a lot of people have ties to horse racing and things around here, so something to consider. It does seem like we may have some chillier weather on tap for Derby weekend, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. But really, if you have any day to pay attention to out of the next 7 days, it would be Monday. That is our first chance in quite a while of seeing some severe weather in the tri-state. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You can catch another look at your forecast on 14 News Tonight at 4, 5, 6, and 10. And meteorologist Michael Fecca will have another one of these streaming shows right here tonight at 9, and he'll have the very latest data and very latest information for you on tomorrow's rain chances, but also that threat of severe weather on Monday. So I hope you'll join him for that stream again tonight at 9. Everybody have a great rest of your day.